Hello everybody, very warm welcome from the Ulusaba family and the team with me here. Today is World Ranger Day and we have the opportunity to celebrate the unsung heroes of the bush. You know, the anti-poaching teams are our unsung heroes and they spend many hours out in the bush protecting our heritage and wildlife. We also pay tribute to a lot of those rangers who sadly have lost their lives looking after our wildlife for us. In terms of support from the Ulusaba family and what us as field guides do on the ground, we don't directly get involved with the anti-poaching, but we do share information, suspicious tracks, and we support them in many ways from, you know, the helicopter crew that have the helicopter at Ulusaba. We try to assist them from a charitable point of view, but the most important thing is that they need all the support that they can get to put in all the hard work that they put in to look after our heritage. First of all, I'd like to introduce the team that are with us today. We've got Tom, Brad, Stu, Ryan and Brandon. The rest of our team will hopefully join us soon once this pandemic is over. We're going to be asking the guys some questions that our viewers have sent through to us, and we're going to have a bit of a chat about World Ranger Day and what it means to us. So as we mentioned, we got some questions sent through from you folks at home, and we're going to ask each of the guides some questions and they'll give you some feedback. So we're going to start off with Tom, and his question is, how many years do you have to study to become a ranger?
So yeah, guys, it is quite an interesting one. Obviously, Trev mentioned in our intro that it is quite a diverse industry. We've got the anti-poaching guys, we have actual game rangers, we have the field guides. So three very different kind of fields that you can go into. So like I say, quite an interesting kind of build up to that. Us as field guides sitting here, we go through an organization called FAGASA, which basically is affiliated with multiple private academies. So to get an entry-level qualification going into or becoming a field guide, we do have to attend one of these private academies where you obviously go through the various courses and generally come out of it with your entry-level qualification, which can get you into a large working out here in one of our various areas. And then it becomes quite a self-study operation, really. I guess you could say you continue to kind of build your own repertoire, and you continue to add qualifications to your CV. And of course, just working and living out here, you learn quite a huge amount also. If we talk about specifically becoming a game ranger or purely becoming a game ranger, that generally is a national qualification or a diploma, which is known as the Nature Conservation Diploma. And guys would go through a university or a college potentially, study that, and then of course get out into the field. And then of course there's the anti-poaching, which Trev mentioned as well, and that would be an entirely kind of separate course that you might do. Also, we have a lot of private academies out here which offer specific anti-poaching courses per se.
Thank you very much, Tom. Cool. So Brad, the question that we have for you is, do the rangers stay at Ulusaba all year round?
Yes, we do for the most part. About 3/4 of the year actually we spend at the lodge. So yeah, it's basically our home. We work leave cycles, so that's pretty much standard now throughout the industry, where you work for 6 weeks and then you get 2 weeks of leave. So yeah, during the 6 weeks it's quite nice to get in touch with our surroundings, get familiar with the animals' patterns and movements. Also, you know, the seasons you get to experience quite nicely, and then the 2 weeks is quite nice for us to be able to get away for a bit, do our own thing, visit our families, our friends, things like that.
Cool, thanks very much. Stewie, the question that we have for you, which I'm glad to still see that you are sitting here, is, have you ever been attacked while out on drive?
Is that other than by my tracker jumping out of the bushes to give me a fright?
Or your wife?
Well, she doesn't join me that much on the game drive, so
Okay,
I'm safe there.
you say.
Yeah.
All right.
But I think, yeah, an interesting question. The short answer is no, but it's a little bit more in depth than that. From time to time, of course, with the amount of exposure we have out on game drives with the wildlife, you know, we'll get into situations where perhaps it's better we remove ourselves from a potentially escalating situation. So I've had a few occasions where animals have come very close to the vehicle or rushed up to the vehicle, more in a warning situation or letting me know with their body language that they're not so comfortable with my presence or our presence. So those occasions occur from time to time, and it's just about how we read the animal's behavior, how we react to that, and maybe even anticipate it in the first place. So safety is obviously very important when we have guests qualifications. We go through our assessments with rifle handling, and we have a certain amount of experience out in the bush, and you can't just go walking without having a certain level of qualification with that as a trails guide. So with that in mind, we carry a rifle, first aid kits and things like that. I've had one or two incidents where we've come into an area where perhaps an animal's been resting or something, and we've woken them up or disturbed them slightly. But I always try to approach a trail or a walk with it in the back of my mind that I actually don't have a rifle with me. I think we can become perhaps a bit too confident, bordering on perhaps arrogant, if we think that we can just shoot our way out of a situation or rely on that rifle to get us out of trouble. So it's all about the guide's skills, anticipation, reading of behavior, having that safety in the back of your mind, and then touch wood. In the last 13 years, I've not really had a specific attack, so to speak, but many memorable incidences with wildlife, and like you say, I'm still here in the chair and happy to tell you that story.
Wonderful, thank you, Stewie. So Ryan, the question that we have for you, and it's a question I think we all get, is why would you want to become a ranger?
Yeah, I think it is a question we all hear quite often. I won't answer for the anti-poaching guys and the field game rangers as such, but I can answer on a field guide's perspective at least. It's an incredibly rewarding job. People forget about the small things like finding animals with your tracker or showing somebody an elephant for the first time. The way we get to see people's responses to the things we take for granted is really cool and rewarding. It's a lot of hard work. People often think we have a very glamorous job, just driving a Land Rover around looking for big animals, which it does look like. But there's a lot of other things behind the scenes, meeting people from abroad, which is always cool. So if you like meeting people and learning about different cultures and things like that, it is really good with that. And then just being out here. I mean, come on, you guys have seen what we get to do and stuff like that, and it's really special, and we're really lucky.
Thanks, Ryan. So Brand, the question that I have for you, what is the rarest sighting that you've ever seen? And perhaps was it that rare that you've only seen it once before?
Well, brings up many memories of different sightings, but the one that really comes to mind is not necessarily also the rarest, but also the most memorable. And it happened to be along the river. I took my guests out for an afternoon safari, and I noticed some activity on the river's edge, so I actually walked my guests down to an overlooking rock that viewed over a beautiful pool. And in this pool there was a Cape clawless otter and a saddleboard stork that were using each other to hunt fish. Right, and this otter would cover the one section of this pool and push the fish towards where the saddleboard stork was waiting. The saddleboard stork would then grab a fish, flare its wings, and the shoulder fish would then swim across back to the otter. And while this was happening, which was quite a distance away though, while this was happening, there was quite a tall bank in the background, and a big male lion picked up on the activity, walked down, and then plopped himself over the edge and watched these two busy cooperatively hunting.
Amazing.
Absolutely incredible.
Thank you, man. So folks, we hope you all enjoyed some of the answers from the guys and got a little bit more insight into our particular part of the ranger job description is. However, today, as we've been saying, is a day to really pay tribute to the real unsung heroes of the anti-poaching guys who spend many hours in the bush looking after the wildlife that we get to share with our guests from all over the world. So on behalf of the team and the rest of the Ulusaba family and the rest of our team that are at home with their families, we really want to pay tribute to all the anti-poaching guys who spend those long hard hours in the bush protecting our wildlife so that we can show our guests and appreciate them. Stay safe, and we really look forward to seeing all of you out in the bush in the near future.
Cheers everybody.
Bye guys.
Happy World Rangers Day.